Hi, hello, I'm Sugar, and this is the Sylvanas Windrunner fight from the 9.1 PTR Sanctum of Domination raid testing. There's a lot going on in this fight, and she's moving at the speed of light. I wasn't entirely sure where to look because there is so much going on so quickly. RIP to any melee on this fight, it's the least friendly melee fight I've seen in a few raid tiers. The group I was in never made it to the 80% intermission. I'm going to briefly go over the mechanics we saw in Phase 1 and speculate later on about the intermission and Phases 2 and 3. The first mechanic we see is called Windrunner, where she bounces between her tanked position and two other areas while throwing out withering fire, small white swirls that need to be dodged, and debuffing players with barbed arrow. The melee didn't need to chase her here because damage done to the original spot counted towards her damage taken. Next are the Domination chains. A bunch of purple swirls came down while she ran all over again. You need to move out of the swirls, but be close enough to get hooked by one if you had the barbed arrow debuff in order to clear it. Once you were hooked, you needed to run away from the arrow while the rest of the raid DPS'd them down. Veil of Darkness appeared next that needed to be run away from, and the circle was about 30-ish yards, maybe smaller. Her second cast of Windrunner seemed to just be tons of swirls that made up a pattern while she bounced around from the last position she was tanked at. During all this, tanks were dealing with Wailing Arrow that they needed to run away from the group with. It exploded and did less damage to the raid the farther away the tank was. At 80%, the intermission happens, where she chains everyone with Domination arrows. Once those are DPS down, there's supposed to be a cutscene putting us into Phase 2. Jaina and Thrall show up in this phase to help us, and we must protect them to get to the next area. It seems from the journal there will be a lot of ads here. Phase 3 seems to be where we will spend the majority of our time and see some repeat mechanics from Phase 1. I hope you enjoyed this PTR preview of the Sylvanas Windrunner encounter in the new Sanctum of Domination raid. Please leave me any questions in the comments below. Okay, bye!